Honorable.
Well, first, let me say good morning to my brothers, my junior brothers. Especially,
It's important to qualify.
No, there's a reason. So.
Okay. It's a parliamentary language.
No, he's
and
my
also
senior
to
brother.
all our viewers, it's good to be here. Let me first take opportunity to commend you guys for the wonderful job you did over the weekend.
Thank you.
With the Back to Your Village
Food festival.
It was good. Just that I think that you people did not have the police do their work well. So created a little bit of transportation problems in the city, you know, within the area, within the confines of the venue. We had a little bit of transport. So maybe look at it next time.
Well noted. Well noted.
Yeah. First, let me say this. Normally, every tax regime aimed at raising government revenue is appreciated, provided it does not bring consequences to the living standards of the people. Taxes are supposed to encourage people to pay part of their earnings to be able to help in the development of the country. But sometimes you also have to look at the impact on social life, the impact on the economic life of the ordinary Ghanaian. That's why people have advocated, or philosophers on taxes have advocated, that in exercising any tax regime, you must look at equitability. You must look at how these taxes will not impact negatively on the people who are going to pay. Because taxes genuinely should be that which will make people pay without any repulsion. People pay without any reluctance. People pay people pay with joy. So in certain jurisdictions, people are happy to even chase the tax collectors to pay their taxes. But when taxes become inimical to the development and the social welfare of people, it becomes very discouraging and people will not want to pay. These taxes are taxes that the two political parties, even before the elections, all agreed, especially the yield levy, all agreed that it was not serving its purpose, and so we'll scrap it. In fact, when John Mahama talked about scrapping it, a lot of people said he can't. There's no way he could do that because of the IMF program and all others. But as pragmatic as he is, together with his Minister of Finance, they found innovative ways of plugging the hole, which will be created by the scrapping of these taxes. Well, what was the yield levy intended to do? Its main purpose was to raise revenue. Did it raise the required revenue? In the first year, it was poorly done, and I said it didn't raise anything. It didn't even achieve 50% of what was anticipated. In the second year, it's not been able to achieve as much as it, but it has an improvement over the first year. So if these taxes and whatever revenue it will generate could be secured from another means without necessarily burdening Ghanaians, because these taxes right from its introduction were criticized because especially the yield levy was said that it was going to affect the poorer more than the rich. Because I remember the former vice president sitting in a television studio and saying that it is the poor people who pay electronic taxes. And I said there's no need for them to be taxed, because when we continue with those taxes, we maintain the poverty cycle. But then he was the same person who led agitation for the introduction of that tax. And that day, I remember when we had the problem in Parliament, you know, the yield levy was one of the problems we had in our time as MPs. It even led to some fisticuffs. It led to certain things that people thought were reprehensible as far as the legislature was concerned. But people forced to push it. You remember all this story about Ajasafo and all those. So the government did everything possible, including the most unexpected issue of having the speaker even voting.
Yeah.
You understand? So, deliberately, the government knew the resentment from the legislature, from the ordinary Ghanaians, from especially people who are find jobs as agents of money transfer. They all criticized it. The Association of Ghana Industries, I remember, also raised their voices against it because they thought that it will further make their businesses not fluid because some of them want to transact business online, you know. So they all criticized it, but the government was adamant because at that time the government was desperate to raise revenue. So today I'm happy that John Mahama did not only make a promise, but he has fulfilled his promise. And I've scanned social media and I've seen the joy of many Ghanaians. It tells you that many people were suffering. From my background, I'm surprised about the level of joy in young boys and girls who do this sporting bet. You understand? I'm from my spirituality, I wouldn't want to encourage somebody to go into betting. I don't do those things though. But then people have found joy in that. Not that they are lazy. I know people who work, earn salary, but they also do the sports betting. I remember when I was a kid, we used to have a form of sports betting that was run by the National Lotteries Authority. It was on the Premier League. And I was always fascinated about picking it and say, Man U win, Man City draw. You understand?
Yeah.
I think this time it's been escalated to even goals and yellow cards and other things. I don't know what it entails because I don't want to get involved. But then, it's like you introduces something in order to kill the avenue of joy, of feeling, happiness of a group of people. And the scrapping of that task has become almost like a relief to these thousands and possibly millions of Ghanaian youth.
We were told it was never implemented.
How? The government itself said they raised so much money. The former government said they raised so much money from that.
There was some confusion that it looked more like semantics regarding lottery taxes and betting taxes.
The Minister for Finance made a mistake by saying they never introduced it at the press conference. The following day, the ranking member on the Finance Committee of Parliament, Honorable Patrick Bama, came out and said the Minister of Finance made a mistake. It was introduced. He even mentioned the figure that was raised, I think about 50-something million within the first 6 months of his introduction. So this issue
was it a mistake or it was a lie?
parliamentary protocols will not allow me to call him a liar.
But you are not in Parliament.
Well, it's a colleague member of Parliament.
So there's parliamentary language.
I would say he made a mistake, which was factually inaccurate. So I think later on he himself tried to polish it up. So the issue is that whether we like it or not, these taxes were taxes that Ghanaians as a whole have accepted that were not good enough. So as a member of government, I will be happy to say that measures that my colleague, the Minister of Finance, Honorable Atuforsin, has prescribed to be able to plug the holes that have been created as a result of this scrapping will be efficient, will be effective, so that we will be able to go through this without having any serious impact on our revenue generation. I've heard some critics saying that in these days when we are under the IMF program and we needed to rather find more genuine ways of raising taxes, this is not a time for you to be scrapping taxes. But certain taxes, when they become inimical to the development of the people, needed to be scrapped instead of sustained and maintained. And then you look at other sustainable means of generating taxes that will not directly affect the livelihood of the ordinary marginalized people. So that is what I'll be looking forward to. Atu has made promises he has already shown areas where we'll draw those taxes. And I think that with all of us, our support, he should be able to make so that the Ghanaians who have had some relief after going through this scorching economic policies of the previous government will continue to live in some sort of, let me say, happiness. Gama will say,
Right. Honorable Champo, let me come back to you on this. At the time it was being passed, it was preached to us that the e-levy had that economic magic wand to turn things. It even led to the scrapping or the repeal of the road tolls.
Yeah.
Yes, and we were told then that if we pass the e-levy and begin its implementation, there wouldn't be a need for us to go to the IMF. We still went to the IMF despite implementation. We cancelled the road tolls and implemented e-levy. Did we see that recovery that we were hoping to see from the impact or the implementation of the e-levy? And based on, I mean, the analysis thereafter, are we eating a humble pie?
No. You have to appreciate life. They say every Pasco is cheap. Don't we say that? It's a very easy balance we use in this country. I started my narrative that the birth of e-levy met a lot of opposition. Mind you, 4 years back.
Could we have listened?
No, just a
to
second.
to
Just
that?
a second. 4 years back, we had just had a very heated election between the former president, Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, and the current president, John Dramani Mahama.
Yeah.
And our legislative house was split in the middle. So you could see how heavy politics were and was at the time in the space. So immediately the idea was mooted. And like my colleagues on this panel have already established, you can only develop as an administration by ensuring that you've mobilized enough revenue. Other than that, you have to go cap in hand and be begging for money to be able to develop and also push your agenda on the table. So, rightly so, the politicization, I used some words, I said it was so polarized. The community has also, you see, perception holds a lot of influence on our ways of doing things. Some experts who are respected in this country started speaking to it not being scrapped. And I sat back and I laughed. I said, they are not political animals like myself. With the kind of suffering my party went through, I will never support e-levy and its introduction. If we are supposed to lose it, let it go. Let us all go and sit back and rethink and see how best we can do things. So for me, no humble pie was to be eating afterwards. It was something that our competitors, and when I mean my competitors, my brother here, never wanted us to succeed with it. And in politics, if somebody do not want you to succeed, whatever they will do to make you look bad, look, they will make you look bad.
But was the thing itself bad?
You know why? If you do mathematics and you are told that if you add this bottle of water to this, you will get a pool, and you are looking for a pool, you go for it. Once the experts come and do a presentation and a projection to you as to where we are going, mind you, we had come into administration, we were doing a transformation. And what transformation were we doing? We were trying to ensure that technology was part and parcel of our growth. And we thought that we had established enough pegs around for everybody to come around the table for us to deploy technology.
But Honorable, you see, the one leading that digitalization drive was against the e-levy.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily at the time. You see, when you sit, he's been a cabinet minister before. When you sit as a team and a presentation is being made to you, it's not everybody around the table who is happy about it. But we are running a system which calls the democracy that we run. The majority will have their way. minority would have a say.
Yeah.
If at a time a presentation is offered and the presentation looks so beautiful and so nice that when we walk this path, we're achieving a set of results, hey, who will stop it? We want it. And so sometimes governance is a gamble. When it goes right, you go and pat your back and say, I did so well, I did so well, I did so well. So for me, it's not a matter of eating humble pie. No way. We are tempted to make sure that we broaden the tax net. And like, mind you, I mean, as if I'm telling a lie, all of us here have tablets in front of us. So anybody doing a presentation, you'll say, look, everybody holding a tablet. It's something that is useful. And you see, taking taxes is not cheap anywhere on earth. Every country, when people are paying taxes, people cry. Nobody enjoys paying taxes. But so they try and find some ways that they will be able to bring everybody to the pool. Look, in times past, we've been battling on pump pricing of fuel. But everybody goes by a vehicle to commute from one point to the other. And so that's a way of making sure that you take it from people. Setting tables and sitting there asking people to come and give their monies to you, it's not easy like that. I won't deny it.
So does this suggest to me that we took the easy way out? Because you see, there are other forms of taxes that we have more or less turned a blind eye, like the property tax. We could have gone all out with that to raise the revenue that we need.
That's a beautiful conversation, but the property tax conversation didn't start today.